can we receive this item? Receive. Now we're going to go to Barrhaven Light Rail Transit, Baseline Station to Barrhaven Town Centre, Planning and Environmental Assessment Study, Statement of Work. Councillor Harder.
Thank you, everyone, for the opportunity to sit with you today and to speak about this project, which, as you know, well, as you don't know, but as Councillor Deans and I would know, back in 2006, we were having a discussion that was very different. So this is almost like Back to the Future. Thanks to the Mayor and Council for supporting the approval of funds to initiate the environmental assessment for this critical transportation link. As the study unfolds, it will reveal how desperate Barrhaven is for transportation infrastructure, both to and from Barrhaven, but also within Barrhaven. We need this high-quality LRT, but also other key cycling and pedestrian facilities, along with roads, intersections, and interchanges. Those who live, work, and play in Barrhaven are all very excited to see this environmental assessment get underway. And as Barrhaven continues to grow, we know that of all the city's growth, approximately one-third took place in Barrhaven. Barrhaven is now about 90,000 people, a large Ontario city. Major retailers like Costco, Canadian Tire, Walmart, and so many are all here serving the community. The headquarters for RCMP and Tomlinson have located here, and more are to come. There are in the order of 15,000 to 20,000 new homes that can be built in Barrhaven in the existing urban boundary, 8,000 of which are expected in the town centre alone. And of course we have challenges. Transit and Southwest Transitway. First and foremost, I'm very happy that this study will dovetail with the Great Separations environmental assessment, a key priority for this city through the work that we've done with VIA and Transport Canada to make Fallowfield Station safe, as well as all the rail crossings, including the Transitway and the road networks of Woodruff and Fallowfield. Between the Sportsplex and Baseline Station, bus-only lanes have worked well, but it's time to look at a fully grade-separated facility. The Barrhaven BIA held a workshop to look at how the Barrhaven Town Centre will develop over the next several years. If 50% of the peak hour trips use transit, and we believe that that is possible, that will be about 7,000 new riders in the mornings and afternoons on the LRT. Unfortunately, the study area stops at the town centre because there are thousands of new homes to be built on either side of New Greenbank Road that could benefit from the LRT. By the way, the existing 95 routes south of the Jock River are terrible and need fixing. And I want to thank personally Mr. Manconi and his team for doing what they are trying to do on a daily basis to help that out. With regard to cars, bikes, and pedestrians, note to city staff, and thank you, Vivi, for the work you've done on this. When you dive into how much is going on in Barrhaven, you're going to be shocked. And I know that you attended a meeting back in February, late February, I think it was, and you took the opportunity to drive in the dark down Greenbank Road, and you were quite surprised. Even with LRT, we're still going to see big demands wanting to get across the Fallowfield Screen Line. Greenbank Road needs to be widened. When Strandherd Drive opens, it will be over capacity. We need to find ways of using other roads like Moody Drive, which is underused. It will need some investment for sure to make it navigable, but certainly it is an opportunity. Canada and Orleans all have 3 highway interchanges. Barrhaven has 1, and we can't get to it. We need another one at Barnsdale. And Councillor Moffat and I have been working on that, and as is MPP Lisa MacLeod. When these projects are designed, there will be an opportunity to improve the cycling and pedestrian networks throughout Barrhaven. Funding in the Transportation Master Plan and the official plan, through that, the DC bylaw has money for Strandherd, Greenbank, Prince of Wales, and Jockville. That's good, but we need more funds for LRT, Greenbank Road through the Greenbelt, and the Barnsdale interchange. When we start updating the OP and the TMP, this LRT, along with other transportation infrastructure, will need to be included. So thanks to all of you for your time, and if I can speak for all of Barrhaven, my part of Barrhaven anyway, the entire community is looking forward to studying and working with the city on this important study. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to jump in very briefly here and interrupt the meeting shortly. I've got to run back down to a tornado relief meeting, but I just want to take this opportunity as the chair of this committee. First of all, I want to thank the vice chair for jumping in at the very last second and doing a wonderful job according to Twitter. But I just wanted to thank each and every one of the committee members over the last 4 years. I think we've done some amazing work. We've made a lot of progress on the LRT file. We've made a lot of progress on cycling. Made a lot of progress on moving towards a Vision Zero approach for the city. We have a lot of work to do going into next term. We have the introduction of photo radar. We have the big report coming back on Vision Zero and what principles can be applied in the city. But again, I would be remiss if I hadn't run out of that meeting to come to this meeting to say thank you to all of you who have come out, done good hard work on these files, and represented your constituents and all of the city very ably on all these very difficult transportation files and snow files and asphalt files and everything else that falls under this committee. So again, I'm going to turn it back over to the Vice Chair. But again, thank you so much. And this goes without saying, this is the last meeting of this committee for this term. There will not be one in November.
Lucky.
And thank you for letting me interrupt you there for a minute, Councillor Harder. And I'll turn it back over to Councillor McKinney. But again, very much thanks to all of you.
I scared him. I said I had a motion on the floor to introduce a Vision Zero policy today. We're all going to vote on it. He wasn't going to leave again. Thank you for that, Councillor Harder. Are there any questions to staff on the IPD? No. Councillor Kakish?
Thank you, Vice Chair. And more of a question. I know we're looking at basically electrifying the Southwest Transitway, and I can tell you, obviously, having just under half of Barrhaven in my ward, there's not a single person who doesn't raise this issue, obviously, because many obviously feel that they got the short end of the stick from the cancellation of North-South. And we've talked about this, Vivi, many times over the last 4 years with regards to having that loop and protecting the east-west connectivity from Riverside South and the corridor there. So where is that, and why is that not part of the assessment that we're going to be doing?
Through you, Chair. That is still in the transportation master plan, and we have our corridor protected. It is a BRT connection rather than an LRT connection, and so it's an issue of prioritizing. So this is, and it requires funding for implementation. But the facility, the corridor, everything has been identified. So that's the next step is going through what is the next stage in our rapid transit in terms of funding for implementation.
So why wouldn't we, as part of the scope of this environmental assessment, though, also look at that east-west corridor to ultimately one day also connect the original plan over from Riverside South to Barrhaven as part of this? Does it complicate the terms of reference for the environmental assessment? Why can't we throw that in there?
Because, Councillor, the transportation, the Barrhaven LRT is identified in the ultimate network. The connection between Barrhaven Town Centre and Riverside South is identified in the TMP in the ultimate network as well as a BRT connection. So
why wouldn't we do that if they're both in the ultimate plans beyond?
Because the work has already been done for that corridor.
Okay.
But we have protected it. We've done it through many studies, the original North-South LRT, and later on we did what was called the BRRT, the Barrhaven Riverside Rapid Transit Facility. So it's been studied already.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think the ultimate solution obviously is that original one, and we do have that east-west connectivity. I don't know when that's going to happen, but that's certainly, we've had this discussion. I know we protected the transit corridor, obviously, in the recent updates of the Riverside South Community Design Plan. And ultimately, I think that's the dream for everyone there, and many people who moved there, obviously, that expected the trains to be running there now. So, obviously, many people in Barrhaven want the train there, but I think the ultimate solution as well is having that east-west connectivity that was originally envisioned when those communities were built and developed. And as a result of that cancellation, I think many of the residents and constituents are suffering traffic-wise as a result of that. So I think that should be our ultimate vision and our ultimate goal, and that's going to be the most efficient and effective way of fixing the ridership and the reliability issues there. So thank you, Vivian, for all the work that you've done and discussions we've had in my office on this file as well, and to Mr. Manconi and to the Mayor's office as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kakish. Councillor Chernushenko.
Thank you. I'll blame it on the chair that this is kind of an end-of-term type of comment. He started it, so I'll try not to go too long on this. I think this is I'll talk specifically to this, but then a bit of a bigger picture here. This is a very interesting example of where it is a very specific issue. We're trying to get the opportunity for people in a big and growing part of the city that's far away from the center, the ways in which to move about that aren't as car dependent. And then speaking as a councillor in the core of the ward, not to have to become the cars moving through our neighborhood, potentially disrupting or polluting or causing noise to residential communities that might be doing what they need to do in a cleaner, quieter, more efficient way. And what exactly the best route is for this, how to go about building it, that I can't prejudge. That's what the purpose of an EA is here. I certainly, I certainly know the value of doing the EAs as soon as we can, because that's how you get your project shovel-ready. That was certainly the benefit for me with a project I was so passionate about, what's now been named the Flora Footbridge, where having that shovel-ready when infrastructure money became available was absolutely critical, because it was, ta-dam, here we are, thanks for the money. Not quite as simple as that, but it's important when we know these projects are key to our network to get them ready for funding, because we all know can't be funded purely on the municipal tax base. So finally, I think my point is just in terms of, this is a message, I guess, for us, for everyone, seeking a position on council. It's a reminder that we are a big city that is amalgamated, and some people may still want to fight the old battle of amalgamation. Goodness knows, in central wards we often hear downsides of amalgamation, but you can't do good transportation planning in sections, by ward, by areas of the city. Good transportation planning is region-wide, and I certainly am pleased to play my part in bringing good transit. Yes, sure, there's a self-interest as well, but in bringing good transit out to other parts of the city, and so I think this is an example of being ready for that next stage. Some might say it should have been done earlier. We know the history behind that, but I'm pleased to support moving forward on this. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor. If I don't see any other questions, receive the IPB? Received. So now we'll go back.